Good evening. Welcome to another edition of your favorite program, dear viewers. We sincerely want to apologize for this late start. We know very well that we humans make machines, but machine tends to play over the intelligence of man at times. And so that is why we are beginning a bit late today. Dear viewers, we sincerely thank you and appreciate for being faithful to this channel, Royal TV, and this program in particular. For today's program, dear viewers, we understand that the Pope came and he has finally left. And so before he was supposed to come, people had so many expectations. People wrote directly to the Pope using the social media. People sent letters and so on. And so this expectation made Cameroonians to have a kind of peaceful mind, given what we are going through in Cameroon, and given that the man of God is somebody who has been going around the world solving problems, and so that of Cameroon will automatically come to an end. But for today's program, we have somebody who was live with the Pope during his visits to Cameroon, and he thought looking and being part of the services the Pope held and some of the activities that took place. So we are going to discuss on today's program on the topic which we are going to look at his visit, especially that of Bamenda, which was very expectant. Kikishi Kenneth, you are highly welcome to the house.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and to the fellow viewers of Royal TV. I want to say you are welcome as you watch the program. Today I'm coming after receiving directly the blessings of the Pope in Bamenda. I was part of the crowd that received him. I was part of the crowd that cheered him along. I was also part of the crowd that followed the Papa audience in the cathedral in St. Joseph Metropolitan Cathedral, and I had a very wonderful experience. And it is good that I am here today to say what I saw and share my own experiences by interaction with the denizens of Bamenda and surroundings, and also had a few contacts with talking with foreign press or media journalists who were in Bamenda too. Thank you.
Yes, of course, dear viewers, it is Kikishi Kenneth. He's a staunch Roman Catholic, very, very staunch Roman Catholic at that, and he belongs to so many of the associations in the Roman Catholic Church. He knows it. He knows his church so very well, and he's also a human rights defender. And Kiki, you were present receiving the Pope. Let's begin. I want to begin generally. Before the Pope came, you know, Cameroonians, even the separatists, some of them, of Chris Anu and the rest, wrote to the Pope. And some of them were like, it is not prayers that will solve this problem, that they need action. And with what you saw, what is your overview of the activities of the Pope? Does it make the expectation of Cameroonians? Because if we follow what Cameroonians were saying, even the men of God, that the holy man is coming, you know, things will change, problems will come to an end. We know we still have some time, yes, but what's your overview about his visit?
Mr. Mahmoud, the visit of Pope Leo XIV to Cameroon, and the particular touchdown in Bamenda, or Bamenda, one of the choices, comes at a time when Bamenda has been referred to, or the Northwest and Southwest have been, you know, referred to by some people as the ground zero, a place where only those who dare can think of visiting those places, some places in these two regions. The Pope, before he came, I remember we had a program here where I said that actually several men of God have visited Cameroon within the crisis period, And each time that a man of God was coming to Cameroon, there were expectations that prayers, that they are coming with prayers and blessings to bless Cameroon or to release Cameroon from curses. Because some people think that Cameroon is under some kind of spiritual curses. But this time around, and so to me, it was just one of those other kind of visits that is going to bring hope to Cameroonians. But I want to say that the Pope did not come for just for prayers, if at all they were prayers. Yes, of course they were prayers. The Pope came as a mediator in the peace, to mediate for peace to come back. And you could see the fact that you just stated that some separatist fighters, like you mentioned the case of Chris, and wrote to the Pope directly,
Yes.
that we don't need just prayers, but we need some action.
Yeah.
I want to say that the visit of the Pope went more than just prayers, but they were actions. If you saw him in Bamenda as a mediator of peace, it gives the crisis some other legitimacy, or the mediation, his role has more legitimacy. Because first of all, you remember that the Pope is the president of another country, the Vatican City.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember other crises around the world, or the time that Cameroon had crisis with Nigeria over the Balkastic Peninsula, there were several mediators. And at the end of the day, we had peace. So who is a mediator, or what is the role of a mediator? The mediator is like, in science, you talk about a catalyst. A catalyst that's pushing forward the positive actions of a reaction, or making, if it is a peace mediation, then he acts as a catalyst, means that he is going to play the role that facilitates the belligerent, both sides, to sit on the table for talk. And all of us have played that role, either as children or as adults. And I, for one, as a human rights defender, it's something that I do on a daily basis, counseling and all that. And as a child, I watch my children play, especially this holiday, and each time they have conflicts among themselves. And then you see somebody say, but just tell her I'm sorry now, and just tell her you are sorry. And you see. So you facilitate the people that are having crisis to come together over the same table to talk. We are not expecting magic or miracle, because the Pope did not come to prophesy. He did not come to talk about miracles that were manners that will fall from heaven. But he came to ensure that all the parties that can lead to inclusive dialogue should sit together and talk. And it started in Bamenda. The Papa audience brought in people participants from different spheres of life. You had the religious people, you had, and of all religions even, it was an interfaith kind of, setting even the base for the religious men from either the imams, the pastors from all the other churches, to play that ground role as mediators. And they brought in the government. The presence of the government there indicates that the government has accepted for level ground mediation. The Pope came just to lay the groundwork for mediation for a crisis that has already been forgotten. Peace building has been like stopped. And you can imagine, they say that the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest region is one of the biggest crises in the world that has been, has received no attention at all. Okay. So for people I'm coming to answer your question. For people who think that their expectations were not met, or that or for the expectations, if you saw the interaction of the local leaders, traditional leaders, or the women, men, even the IDPs, and the fact that even though you might not have seen the separatist fighters in the cathedral, their presence was eminent. There was peace in Bamenda because they declared a 3-day ceasefire, which according to them was they said they should allow the Pope to give a clear environment for the Pope to have a safe stay without any hitches. And so if you are talking about expectation, you must factor in the fact that he came and he said it's like a pace setter for a new beginning of peace again to start all over.
Okay. Now, I just wanted you maybe to give an overview of what you saw, maybe your impressions. But we'll have to streamline this program this way. We'll look at the speeches, the various speeches that we had. We'll focus more on Bamenda, that is the Northwest region. But we'll also go to the other places. But we'll know the Northwest region was very peculiar. So we'll look at the speeches, especially those of the Imam, then those of the former moderator of the PCC, then maybe the Pope himself and other speakers. We even have the who spoke. Then after the speeches, we'll also look at something very significant, the doves that were sent out by the Pope himself. Then we'll look at the turnout, the population that came out. What does it really signify? Then we'll also look at the fact that the separatists decided that there should be ceasefire until the Pope comes and leaves. How do we analyze that? Then we'll look at the sustainability of all the new developments and the innovations that came up just because of the Pope visit. How should it be sustained? Like the airports, should it just stay like that as it has stayed for the past years? Or there should be, what proposals do you have about that? Then the general expectations, we shall be looking at it, whether it was met because so many expected, whether their expectations had to come to fruition. Okay, now let's look at the speeches. Let's look at, let's begin at home, the speech of the Imam of Boya. A very touching speech. He talks about so many Muslims, especially in the Bororos, who have been attacked severally in the Northwest, killed, and so on. And because there wasn't time, he could not read all he had. How do you look at that his speech?
It was a very eloquent and soul-searching speech by the Imam, who took time to actually paint a vivid picture to the Pope and other people present, highlighting the stigmatization, the killing, the kidnapping of minority groups. Because in the crisis, we have an issue of minority groups being targeted.
Yes. Yeah.
And the Bororos are
They have suffered that a lot, yeah.
Who suffered several torture, killings, and arbitrary arrests by either the belligerents. I want to say that the Imam was straight to the point. At a time when we are talking about, another new phase of dialogue to put this crisis to an end, it would not have been good for a personality like the Imam to chew his words.
Yeah.
And so he came up very clearly, gave a data of the sufferings or of the casualties suffered by men of God from Islam, the Imam, other Imams in the church, the mosques that have been attacked, people that have been killed, cattle that were lost. Yeah, you cannot go on the mediation table and keep some facts in your pocket for fear. And so the environment was well carved out for everybody to express himself without being pressured or without fear, to say what exactly needs to be addressed. And so the Imams came out well and he was heard.
Now, the Imam came out, and if we look at the Bororo, as you have described it, the minority groups, if you look at the recent times, it is like it is no more the crisis, but it is like settling scores or a group of people who are maybe attacking each other at this time. Will you call that maybe the crisis continuing?
That is just a ramification of a crisis. And somebody said several years ago, just like the second or third year, no, about the second year when this crisis started, that when you call for war, you have actually invited the devil. And once you invite this devil in your home, you will not have again a calendar to give him on how he should operate. The modus operandi will not be again what you might have thought, but the devil will have his own ramifications. Settlement of scores in a negative way, not not with a dispute resolution mechanisms. When you invite the devil, the structures that could cater for those for peace mediation in some areas do no longer exist. And so that gives inner ramification of these other ventures like settlement of issues that grudges that have been birthed. You will find that communities that we used to have some type of tribal wars, maybe they can come into revenge now using the arms that they have.
Yeah.
Because when the doors are open for conflict, it opens channels of weapons to come in. Now remember that before the crisis, we used to have highway armed robbers.
Yeah.
Where have they gone to? Were they killed? Have they merged into the separatist fighters? What I'm trying to say is that sometimes some of these attacks we are even seen before, but at that time we were not in a crisis. But only know that they were highway armed robbers who attacked traders going either to Nigeria or to wherever, to small markets. You could hear of attacks on Bali, where highway armed robbers attacked and got robbed traders going to Nigeria of several sums of money, or robbed some cattlemen from their booties. And the crisis came. Maybe they decided to hide now behind other canopies, but they are still there.
But there are some who have the impression that it's no more the crisis, but it is a kind of graziers, farmers kind of conflict.
Actually, that
the
is what I'm
government
trying to say,
should
that
be able to solve.
All other conflicts that or crises that were not solved by through the legal channels before, which did not have a clear-cut solution. You know that farmer grazer issues are part of the Northwest crisis for long, and the central administration or the local authorities had never had a true a definite solution to those problems. And so within this crisis, you would imagine when youths have arms, they will remember that their parents were robbed of either their land property, or that they had this destruction, or that their cattle were killed by so and so person. Now that they have direct contact with the weapons, they go in for revenge, and that is normal in the crisis period, and that's why you don't open your door for crisis.
Okay, putting all these pictures together, that of maybe the victims of the war or of the conflict that we have, the Anglophone crisis, because we saw a family that also came up and said something. Let's also look at the speech of the moderator at once. In all this, all of them confirm the fact that yes, this crisis, this problem is there, the Anglophone crisis. But if you look at also the speech of the man of God, the Pope, he was very clear. If you look at his speech, are you convinced that he made the population, the administration, to understand that the minority have been treated badly? Because at one time he made them to understand that it is not by force, it is not by war, it's not by gun that you can solve problems, especially when it comes to minority problems. So in other way, he was referring to the Anglophones, who are the minority. How do you size that?
Well, before he even came to the Anglophone problems in Cameroon, he also painted a picture of Africa
Yes.
that has been exploited by some tyrants. Also a global picture, even not just Africa, for people who are fond of, orchestrating conflicts for their benefits. Africa, with all its natural resources, some people decide to exploit Africa and use war to rob them of the peace that they could enjoy and from the resources that they do have. And so he came to the minority issue. Remember that the Pope said he is an ambassador of peace.
Yeah.
As an ambassador of peace, a shepherd of peace, his role is to that neutrality, that neutral role brings a lot of legitimacy to his to the peace building mechanism that he's bringing, because everybody trusts his neutrality, and that is why it could only be him who plays that role, because if not, some traitors would have been talking different things. Because, for instance, if I would imagine coming up to say that, okay, I am talking with the separatist fighters for peace mediation, at one moment I will be tagged, as somebody who is taking side with separatist fighters. And the legitimacy of the Pope's Papa audience talking peace comes from the fact that he is neutral, and you said it, that in the beginning, even before he came, some separatist fighters contacted him, wrote him letters.
Yes.
And the medium through which they channel their concerns, we don't know, but the fact is that it reached the Pope. And also the fact that they were able to equally talk to their fellow brothers of the ground zeros to lay down their arms to pave way for negotiations. It is a clear indication that on both sides, people are tired of this conflict and they want peace.
But now, there are some who feel like, I told you the expectation was so high, to the extent that maybe some people just felt that the Pope would just come and tell the government that do this, do that, and it will be done immediately. So what is your impression that so many others have been coming before the Pope? We have the United Nations, the African Union, we have so many associations and individuals, Secretary General of the U.S. Secretary General and the rest. They have come, they have made speeches, they have tried to intervene. Even the Christian Cardinal Toomey, before he died, he tried his best. But now the Pope came, ended with speeches. Do you think that this speech will penetrate the hearts of those who parade the corridors of politics or this crisis? Do you think it will penetrate their hearts for them to take a U-turn?
I would say yes. I would say yes, because sometimes in football we had this expression that impossible is not Cameroon. Impossible n'est pas Cameroon. And within the beginning of the war, with the crisis, a lot of people came, posed resistance to dialogue.
Yes.
Making it impossible for peace, making it impossible for inclusive dialogue. I think the Pope came just to erase the IM before possible.
Okay.
And he blotted it out clearly that it is possible. He did not come to, to kind of impose himself.
Yes.
But he came on the calling of Cameroonians who think that they can actually mandate and mediate for peace to come back to Cameroon.
Yeah.
He came just to legitimize the action groups that are already there, planted in the northwest and southwest regions, for peace building and for inclusive dialogue, for a fresh beginning. Now, let me tell you, ask about all the interventions by either the Reverend Nyansako PC
The
Funky.
former Funky.
You ask about the interventions of other persons who talk during the audience. All
The
of
former
them were
moderator was
speaking their
Hassan,
minds, and they
yes.
are already they are already actors that are in place to mediate, and so the Pope was just coming to catalyze and to facilitate their action by simply legitimizing the interreligious, interfaith groups and other persons, civil society actors who are on ground that they can actually bring in peace. Now, we have a situation in Cameroon where the international community came in, but they spoke and they left without action. And some of them spoke out of camera. But the audience was on camera, where everybody spoke without fearing, because they knew that they came with a mandate of neutrality, and that they will not be accused of saying whatever they said there. And it gives way for you talked in the beginning, during your intro, you talked about the sustainability of the Pope's action. The sustainability of the Pope's action is based on the fact that, is grounded on the fact that he is not coming to he will not be coming to Cameroon to be moving to bring in groups or to do consultation. But he has come, and there's an interfaith group that he has not given them the powers to work. Not the powers, let me not say that he's giving them powers, but also to say that, okay, he's backing. His backing has several ramifications. Now, it is going to bring in the international, it is internationalizing the process, because it opens the doors for, open more windows for that were already closed in the
But some people had the impression that, or expected that, you know, as the program tells, that the Pope was going to meet the civil society, the administrator, the politicians, and so on, and it will be a meeting, a tete-a-tete, a face-to-face meeting where people will stand, express their mind. But it ended up in maybe some speeches of 2 minutes and the rest. That's why people are doubting if this will really penetrate those who are supposed to come to the round table.
Okay. If in the beginning, other when the Secretary General of the Commonwealth came, well, how did this happen? It was just a hall talk, and then behind, on the ground, a lot of decisions were taken.
Okay.
So the Pope did not do anything different, but he did it much better. Even if you give Cameroonians, if you meet two persons that are in conflict, and you give them time to express themselves, you may take 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and the debate will still be on and on.
Okay.
But the indicators are already there that what was said, who said it, what is the way forward has been paved. The most important thing is, what is the way forward?
Yeah.
The Archbishop of Bamenda made it clear that they will not waste.
Okay.
They will not waste time again. It means that they are ready to start taking action. And the doubting Thomases, I beg. It's normal in our society that we always have doubting Thomases. But I beg to differ with many of those people, because the presence of the government and the fact that the Pope came under the invitation of the government, we should remember that it's the government, the head of state that invited him, and knowing fully well that he's an ambassador of peace or a shepherd of peace, that and not somebody that you can bribe his way. He will come and he will tell you exactly, because in all the meetings that he had, in all the either on camera or out of camera, there is a final transmission that he made to the head of state, which is clear, which will be clear with indicators and the outputs and the outcomes that are expected, and whatever that will showcase that the procedure the government has actually opened up for.
Do you see
dialogue.
the Pope's, the way the Pope did things, do you see him as somebody who had maybe an insight of this crisis, who has, you know, every information about the crisis and maybe brought solutions and gave to the President of the Republic?
Okay, I will say yes. I see him as that. Let me first start. Let me go back into what I said. In the 9-year crisis, there are several ministers in Cameroon who have not touched foot in the southwest region or the northwest region.
Yeah.
In the
And even those who have
crisis,
gone is under tight security.
In the 9-year crisis, the head of state has not set foot in the northwest or in the southwest region. In the 9-year crisis, several people have lost their life, but would have hardly seen the flag of Cameroon drop down as a sign of mourning. It is clear. People see it. You ask me whether the Pope had an insight. When we had 16 people or Charlie Hebdo in Paris some years back, the head of state even went there to condole with the French people.
Yeah.
When we had Ngabou in the northwest region, you did not hear it from any voice. You did not see any sign that we have that love for each other, that we value life. Those are things that in this new era, where technology brings information closer to the people, the Pope from his small room, from his chapel in the Vatican, watches TV. Anything that happens to see, if 14, 20 something people are killed in a nation, in a country, somebody would expect is, you know, everybody going out in black, the flag dropped down to condole with the lost and to the families. The Pope do not need to open a Pandora's box of Cameroon and during the conclave to tell you, but he sees it. There are people that observe the world just from the this triangle of from the rectangular box which is called the television set, or from their hand tops with their phones, and you can scroll on news and you realize that Cameroon is indifferent to the lives that they are losing. And so when you are indifferent, the Pope sees it. So the Pope is coming with a very clear picture of the fact that some Cameroonians at the helm of, you know, in high offices do not matter, and that if they do not step into to make a call to conscience, this crisis might take longer and more lives will be consumed.
He made a statement. The Pope made a statement that slogans, propaganda, all those don't solve problems. The actions. Now, if you look at speeches, at times are full of slogans, propaganda. Do you see all this that happened during the visit of the Pope to bear fruits?
Okay. If I may ask, what propaganda did you see in the speeches of all who talked during the audience? I don't think there was propaganda. People came out with facts.
And those facts have been in the past also.
No,
they have been presented.
No. They didn't have to invent facts. Everybody spoke in content and context.
Okay.
And so it was not a matter of issue of we are in a situation where the Pope has come for us to reignite the peace building that was already like stopped.
Every speech presented, every word that came out from people was tilted towards peace. Now the problem of Cameroonian is the same thing that has been happening in the past, but how should they be very confident this time?
Well, they should be very confident because, one, I said that the neutrality of the Pope gives a lot of legitimacy to the process. You know, as a catalyst, they say that a catalyst is a substance that takes place to accelerate a reaction, but without itself affecting the composition of the substance. It means that the Pope has not come to impose. The Pope has come to activate dialogue amongst Cameroonians. And like I said, doubting Thomases have issues every day, and they have either a neighbor or a family, or one family or a friend who will talk to them in their crisis, and the crisis is solved. We have land disputes in the northwest and southwest and every other region of Cameroon, where sometimes it is the traditional authority, the fon or the chief, that brings people together and talk peace, and then the matter is solved. Why would you be doubting the Pope? Is it because, or maybe the doubting Thomases are not seeing? If you listen to what Right Reverend Funky said about the groups, that the interfaith or interreligious groups that have been formed to buttress peace, if you listen to the Imam, what he said, it is clear that somebody had to come to legitimize the work of those different groups of people that are coming in.
The separatists called for ceasefire during the visit of the Pope, before, during, and maybe to an extent after the visit of the Pope. Looking at this, what is your take about it?
My take is very positive. I salute them for that decision that they took. It shows that when there is conflict, everybody suffers.
Yeah.
They have had losses, human losses on their sides. I don't think that they celebrate loss of life. I was expecting that a government ceasefire should even be announced. Within these days, I am expecting the government to call for a ceasefire.
If you talk of the government calling for ceasefire, was the government in the government ever declare any war, or will the government say that they were in war with any faction? Or because calling for ceasefire, it means that you are conscious that you are in war with somebody. I don't know. How do you look at it?
Mr. Moderator, I don't. Let me answer you.
Yes.
I just have to be frank to you, to myself and to those who are watching me. There's war, and the state defense and security forces are involved in the war. And every day you see them in their normal displays being sent to the very warring areas to do intervention, either to stop the Amber fighters or whatever. Do somebody need to tell my son, little son of 4 years, that government is involved in war for it to stop the war?
But we are talking of the, in diplomacy, we are talking of the aspect of declaring ceasefire, because declaring ceasefire, there's a lot in that. So now, if the government did that, how would they have how would they have analyzed that? They claim they have that. They have never declared. Yes.
I always equate one military trained soldier in Cameroon.
Yes.
One of them is equal to 50 Amber fighters. It means that each time that a soldier is lost,
yes,
one soldier who are supposed to do responsible for our protection,
yes,
each time that a military in the war front is shot, is a big loss to this nation, because it reduces the capability of and efficiency of our military to properly do their work, which is protection. Whether it is protection of territorial integrity,
yes,
or protection of civilians and persons and whoever and properties, one of them that the government of Cameroon has trained with billions or millions, who lost his life, affects the stamina, the peace and stability of this nation. And so it would be wise for the government. You are asking me whether government ever declared war. One of our mediators, an internationally renowned Cameroonian, Christopher Nyamdi, said that each time that his observations were clear, the separatist fighters are in their own corner.
yes,
The military are in their own camp. And unless the military move towards or across the zone, the area that was circumvented by Amber as their own area, you will not have any gunshots. Unless they The fighters too left their own hideouts and came to town to trouble people. You will not have gunshots, because when they come, the military will go to defend us, and that's where you get gunshots. So, what was my take of that? My take of that is, if the military did not if they declare ceasefire, the fighters will be fighting who? The war will come to an end.
Kiki, let's look at this aspect of, now we have talked all these. I don't know whether I should take this point first. The Holy Father came with some doves, about 7 of them, if I'm not mistaken. What do you take of that?
The dove is a symbol of peace. The dove is a symbol of peace. And the audience was inside the cathedral.
Yeah.
And there were crowds and thousands of people outside the cathedral. In the African tradition, there would have been palm wine there.
Okay.
After
So
all the talking, then the chief or the fon who asked for the calabash of the palm wine and will pour it down and make libations for peace.
Yeah.
So, as a church, their own way of libation was to fly the doves. And he did it with representatives of the different denominations and other action groups and other groups. So that was the way of, like you say, taking action. If you, after peace negotiation and mediation in the tradition, in the community, like I'm saying, if it's palm wine should be thrown, that is action.
Okay.
Appeasing the gods. When you fly the doves to carry the peace and fly across.
Okay. As staunch Christians that you are, we understand, if I'm not mistaken, 7 simply means completion. And now, does it mean this war has come to an end? And flying the dove, and you know the significance of the dove, it is to say purity, it is to say peace. So, has the peace come?
I would say yes. The peace has come in the hearts of people. Peace starts first of all within the self. Peace is peace. They say the absence of war, the absence of conflict, the absence of violence is not a direct implication that there is peace.
Okay.
So for peace to start, it must start in the hearts of men. I remember I witnessed a preaching where a priest was talking about people should refrain from burying people in their hearts. That people have made their hearts as graveyards. It means that they carry a lot of grudges that several persons they would have loved to see. They have already buried many people. Okay. And so those communities that implanted seeds of impossibility about this crisis in their hearts. The first thing is to remove it from your heart, know that peace is possible.
Yeah.
And why has peace not been? Why has it been sounding impossible? Because sometimes we do not come on the dialogue table where people voice their concerns and their issues. The separatist fighters did not talk in the conclave in Bamenda, right? But you saw they acted. You said here in the beginning that action speaks better than words.
I can see some of them.
I saw the fact that
because even the consortium was present.
Bamenda or no disturbances coming from them. It is indicative that they already paved way for peace and they are ready for peace. And so if they can do it, what the Pope is now looking for and what every other person, Cameroonian and the international community is expecting is that we should take actions that will sustain the seed of peace that we sowed in Bamenda or in Cameroon, because the Pope was talking peace across. So it is now left on us, incumbent on us, not to continue to be doubting Thomases, but to come out from our little angles to contribute to the peace building.
So you are saying that those 7 doves are saying that peace has come. The 7 doves have brought peace, have brought good news, and maybe peace plans.
I am
Now,
saying so.
as we said, 7 simply means completion. And so, if 7 means completion, do you see the various conflicting factions coming on the round table?
If there was consensus before he came, that nobody should, that there should be a sane environment.
Yes, ceasefire and
ceasefire. No disturbance. Give way, give room for people to talk.
Yeah.
Then why should we be doubting that if we continue genuinely behind the cameras to negotiate, peace will not come. I want to take the story that I sometimes do not share on the platform because I hardly do not want to make to create an impression of a boastful attitude.
Yeah.
But I tell you, when the war was still, when they used to talk of ground zero, it was really ground zero, not now. That's going to have 0.0. I happened to be perusing Moyuka subdivision for humanitarian action under the canopy of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees and Cameroon. And you have to be able to enter those terrains, you have to negotiate your passage. That's meeting the belligerents, presenting your own project that you are coming with, and I successfully did it, even though I had a lot of fear. I was asking myself several questions. But yeah, finally I made it. And to further my actions there, I decided to create safe spaces where children could be playing. I call it playing. Because at that time, if I dare say that I wanted a space where children would come and be learning, I would have been slaughtered. So I explained to the belligerents that in crises like this, they too they have children. They too they have children who are supposed to be in school. Since schools are not going on,
yes.
There's a lot of child trafficking, There are a lot of children that can be missing from the community. So it's better that these children, I am going to create spaces where they will be coming and just playing game. I have brought football, handball, many games that they will be playing to keep them, so that they will be taking data that, okay, so all these children are still around. And they accepted. And I started it. When I started it, it became so popular that I had over 5,000 children. I had several mentors within the communities. And at one moment when I met the commander in courts of the belligerents,
Yes.
he told me that I should make that thing all over. Because at that time I knew that they were learning there. He knew that there was learning going on there, but I said, okay, I defended myself. It is not learning to write GC or at first school living. It's just for alphabetic, to doing the learning to read and write, simple like that, just to keep them after they play, when they come together, they play. And you see, what I'm giving this narrative is that what I thought in me that was impossible became so possible, became very possible. And the issue, I could not come up on stage, on a platform like this to talk about that at that time, because I did not want to attract the politicians who make things impossible.
Okay.
In my game, and I had many politicians call me, Kikishi, why did you not inform us that this is what we are doing so that we could help? But if I had done that, they would have taken it to other platforms and said that they are giving finance Sakikishi's plan in Moyuka, in Moteng, in Monyenge, in Bafia, in Kata, wherever, to bring students together. And then I would have become a target, because in all of these things, they were still seeing the vision. What I am saying here is, everything is possible depending on how you see those boys.
Okay, now let's look at this. The Pope, we have talked about the 7 beds that the Pope came with. Now we've seen the significance, and we understand, if anybody who knows who understand that we talk here of peace, good news, and so on, completion. But with my research, I'm not a Roman Catholic. There is an oil that is used by the clergy of the Roman Catholic Church to anoint the old and the sick. And I don't know, with my research, some people say it is used to prepare somebody, especially if the person is too sick, maybe if the person has to die, and maybe it's also used for the old. Now, we understand the Pope came with such an oil. What was it for?
Moderator, we in our context today, anointing is the order of the day.
Okay.
I think it's not only the Catholic Church that anoints. It's just that you don't pay for anointing in the Catholic Church.
Okay.
It is free. If you have a patient in the hospital who is very sick, you can get any priest to do anointing, to anoint the person, so the person can. In the Catholic Church, we have confession, where you can confess your sins, and then you die in peace.
Okay.
I don't know the story of the anointing that the Pope came with, but remember that the Pope is a priest.
Okay.
And the anointing oil is one of the things, the sacramentals that the Pope should carry along. As a soldier, you are going to war with your gun, and you cannot go to war with a gun without bullets, and you cannot go to war without your helmet and your good shoes, and all that it takes to protect you. Or
so the oil wasn't for anybody purposefully?
So a priest moved with his anointing oil.
Okay.
In which he can reach the general hospital, he can be moving with his car, and they call him that, please, I have my sister in the hospital, please, can you come and anoint the person?
Okay.
And it's done freely. We don't sell anointing oil in the Catholic Church. It's given for free.
Yes, but it means
so
the oil wasn't for any particular purpose, it wasn't for anybody, but it was for everybody.
It was for everybody.
It was for everybody. Okay. Because some people just felt like maybe it was for a particular, maybe some people. Okay, you've answered that. Let's take this a few. If you look at the ecumenical structure of his visits, because we had the Muslims, we had the Christians, then in the Christianity we had other denominations that came. How do you look at the effectiveness of this? Or if it wasn't effective, how do you size it?
Well, I already said it. Maybe you did not get me well. I said that the Pope's visit was to legitimize the actions of the interfaith religious groups that are already on the ground working for peace in Cameroon, and to actually link them to, and ensure that government works with them to bring peace.
Of course, and he made a statement. He made a statement showing that he appreciates the way Cameroon, the interreligious structure of Cameroon exists. He made a statement towards that direction.
Yeah, it was a reminder by all those other faiths present that before we were one, and religion has not separated us.
Yeah.
And that peace is not Catholic peace. Peace is not Pentecostal peace or Protestant peace where you have Presbyterian peace. Peace is peace. There's no peace, there's no Catholic peace, there's no Muslim peace. And so that was just a call to conscience for everybody. I sometimes I ask myself, have you ever heard when somebody is sick and they say they need blood, they say they need Catholic blood? The same blood flows all through our veins, whether you are a Catholic or a Muslim, whether you are a Pentecostal or Protestant, it is the same blood that flows through our veins. And so each time that somebody is ill or sick and needs blood, you will not hear them saying that Pentecostal blood is needed at the regional hospital to sustain somebody's life.
Okay.
Blood is blood, peace is peace. And conflict affects all of us in a different way. If you saw the different people that spoke, they showed how the conflict has affected them, how they have lost people, how they have been kidnapped, indiscriminately, right?
Yeah.
So that was to ensure that everybody become part of it. The ambush fighters have also lost their mothers and their friends and their loved ones too in the conflict. Are you sure that they're happy? No. Just as I mourn my uncle who was shot in July, I also see, I'm part of it, and that is the same feeling that all of us share. If you have lost a life in the conflict, you will want to bring peace. If they call for peace, you will not be looking that, but which voice is talking about peace? Which that person that I was fighting with him yesterday?
Yeah, but the ecumenical structure of this visit was superb. But there are some who feel that if you go back to these individual maybe spiritual groups or churches, what they say at their various pulpits is quite different, because in their various pulpits you see them maybe standing against one other religious group or against another church and so on, trying to bring down one church. So with your opinion, if somebody should ask you, do you really encourage ecumenism, given what happens in other churches, but when they come together, is that not pretense?
I will take just one example out of the church. I'll take the political landscape in Cameroon.
Yes.
During the presidential election, candidates from the opposition, they say things about the head of state or the government of Cameroon or about the other parties, and they always pretend themselves as the best in order to harvest followers, right?
Yeah.
Militants. And after election, you hear that the government has presidential majority, which are people that also had different philosophies, different ideologies, different perception of the government. Because the interest is, the supreme interest is the state. And so I'm talking about the churches, church leaders preaching against each other or sabotaging each other. That is a game to harvest followers. But when we are talking about a crisis that has affected all of us, all the churches, none is left, then there should be a general consensus to forget our little myopic ways of doing things, to come out in unison, to make the ground level for everybody to be able to sow seeds. If you are a shepherd of God, Jesus gave you an assignment to be to fishers of men.
Okay.
And so, if you on your pulpit you propagate that kind of division, it will not help you. So we are saying that even though we are human and we have our shortcomings, we sometimes manifest on our pulpits. There is the Catholic Church or the Protestant, Presbyterian or Baptist, we should know that when you are hurt, when blood is flowing, and no religion, all those religions, they say that human life is sacred.
Yeah.
And because of the sacredness of human life, they should make all the efforts to bring in peace, in as much as it touches the life of human beings.
Okay, let's be taking a bend to this. Let's look at, if one should ask, or maybe you were among friends after the visit, you've been having impressions from friends. Now, I want to take these two questions as one. The motive for the invitation, was it met? Or we know the head of states invited, not so. But now, how do you see this invitation? Now, the expectation too of the populace, do you think it was met?
In the African tradition, you know a friend when you are in trouble. And so if I lost, like I lost my mom, all of you who are my friends converge in my house to condole with me. That is the most difficult moment that a man passes through,
Yes.
losing a dear one like a mother or a friend or a relative, and you come towards him, you give him hope. So if the Pope's visit, if the letter of invitation to the Pope, I will not say the content, why he was here. To be able to define or to say with surety that it was made. But what I know as somebody who loves to see people in smiles, as somebody who cherish living together, communion with people, communion together.
Yeah.
And then we have a visitor of that magnitude at the moment when Cameroonians, we are not just talking about the crisis in the southwest and northwest or the far north. We are talking about a whole country where people seem to, the future is uncertain. Where there's a very dark cloud, and we are trying to see a silver lining. And that silver lining is a visitor, a guest, who is coming at the time that we are already giving up our thoughts, who is coming at the time that rumors are spreading that can even spit fire before anything happens.
Yes.
Who is coming at a time when, there are still people behind bars in their thousands because of grievances of the elections, because of the crisis, and there are even some people who have been wrongfully convicted, who have been in jail. Some of them have not even been tried. Several thousands of youths are in prisons without being tried. And so somebody is coming, because a shepherd of peace, first of all, is a shepherd, it's an advocacy, an advocate for justice.
Okay.
So the Pope came with a message that is bringing hope, that is supposed to usher in justice, because there can be no peace without justice.
Yes.
And when justice is delayed, justice is denied. So the several thousands of people who are not even in prison, who have their loved ones in prison, who have not been tried, but they have already spent years in prison, who have been tried and maybe wrongfully, whatever, the Pope has come. I said it in the beginning, that the Catholic Church did not have the tradition of prophets or miracle preachers. But the Bible says that when I was in prison, you visited me. When I was thirsty, you gave me water. When I was hungry, you gave me food. And when I was naked, you clothed me. And that ushers in another legitimate action of the Catholic Church as the Pope came. The humanitarian action of the Catholic Church will now be more visible because the Pope has validated it.
Okay.
So you see, so the coming of the Pope, without looking at, maybe people think that as he came, as he's going with head gunshots yesterday, so what did he come to do? No. He has led a friend.
You just used 3 words there, justice, peace, and resilience.
Yes.
Now, if you look at this crisis, has there been justice? And you talk of, if it is delayed, it is denied. How do you look at it as at now?
In the context of this crisis, like I said, a lot of rough work, a lot of, you see, several people, several hundreds of women and men and youths are caught up. And if you are asked to pay a ransom, just like the villagers who ask ransom and you don't pay, they cut your hand or they kill you. Our legal department or the military have also done that. And that's why some people, several hundreds of people are in prison. Because once they ask you they ask you ransom and you don't pay, they tag you as amber and they send you to jail. So there has been no justice. And it is why the peace process is delaying, because of the multiple challenges in ensuring justice. I want to say that the fact that somebody has committed a crime which is linked to terrorism, do not warrant that he should be judged in the military tribunal. Go to our penal court and what you will never see anything there that civilians should be judged in military courts. Civilians should be judged in civilian courts, but with military. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Military judges can be there. So you see, a lot of hijacking has been done. The legal system has been hijacked. And it's clear that there can be no justice if you take somebody from one region which has the capacity, the competence to try him and take it to another region for whatsoever reason. It's just that you take taxes from some companies that they are grounds and enterprise and they go and pay it in another town, which deprives the other local authorities or municipalities from getting some.
Okay, now the President of the Republic invited the Pope, and it coincided. It was a coincidence. It coincided with the visit. In the time, this visit coincided with the times when the transitional government. Let's put it this way. I use the word coincidence. Do you see it as coincidence or there's something in the pipeline?
I don't know which transitional government you're talking about, but I
because
know that
there are some who have the impression that he came to prepare some people for a transitional government.
Yeah, you're talking about the amendment of the Constitution, which has given room for the president to appoint the vice president, who in case of his incapacitation could continue and assure that the nation do not run blank, which is a very good decision though, even if it has several areas where people are contesting or where people seem to have a lukewarm about, which makes people to rather feel that it is paving way for a kind of monarchical transition. Those are rumors in the corridor, though, but there are clear signs which are natural. There are clear signs which are natural signs that the head of state has reached a time when he has to rest, and as a responsible father of the land and of the nation, he wants to put somebody that will
continue his legacy,
and continue running the affairs of the country, preparing the country for a smooth transition, which should not be a transition will pass through war or coup d'etat or whatever. And so the Pope is coming when on every lips and bound is they're talking about this transition, because the head of state promised on December 31st that there was going to be a reshuffle of the government. We are already in the fourth month, and a lot of people thought that the delay came because the assembly needed to put into bill, or the bill had to pass through assembly for the post of vice president to be reintroduced back, and it has come already. And so, like, you are correctly saying that what Cameroonians are waiting is that appointment of vice president and then the cabinet reshuffle, which will be coming. So you are right to say transition, because our head of state, His Excellency, is already at the time that he needs to have a very good rest, and he cannot have a good rest and peaceful rest if the right person is not in position. So I think he's taking his time. Some people are speculating that by next week, before 20th May, all of those things will be done.
And some people are speculating that he can't do it now until after 20th May, because maybe doing all these appointments, it has to come with the shake-up of the government. There won't be time for installation and so on. So at least there won't be time before the 20th May for the new government to take over. So maybe it will be after 20th of May. We don't know. Okay, let's look at the sustainability of all these investments and innovation, on these new things that came. Old new things came, like the airports in the Northwest region, churches were renovated. I saw a beautiful Roman Catholic church in the Northwest that it wasn't that way. A new kind of face has been given to it, and other roads in the Northwest region, and even all over, like in the central region, in the littoral. Now, we live in a system where the culture of maybe fixing things that are getting bad is like, you know, something passing through the eye of a needle. What do you have to say about this?
Fixing things are already getting bad, that we don't have that culture. And that's why Cameroonians are still seeing the Pope's visit as an impossible path to peace. Because Cameroon, by their culture, can allow obsolete equipment in hospitals and then blame doctors for not working hard. They can allow teachers teach in very obsolete, with obsolete tools in technical school, and they will be the same people to say that they are not inventing, they are not, you know, that the technical section which is supposed to industrialize Cameroon is knowing nothing, whereas they are not good in fixing or changing things that are bad. The Bamenda airport, sustainability of that airport, you know, stadiums were built in Cameroon, and somebody was put in charge of maintenance and sustaining the infrastructure, making sure that it maintains it in good form. And we find most of those stadiums that were used already dilapidated. We don't know whether the budget was given for maintenance. Now, it goes the same with the airports. But the sustainability of the airport starts first with the local flights. On the day the Pope left Bamenda, you could also see a small Cameco flight that left. Cameco passenger flight, the smaller one. And you see the hundreds or thousands of people that queue into Bamenda through the roads. You know that, and with many businessmen